Amateur radio Newsline will start in 5 minutes. W8WKY.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2467, with the release date of Friday, February 7th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Ham Radio prepares for the first polar orbit spaceflight. Austria's historic shortwave station is demolished, and hams in Turkey activate in memory of a silent key. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2467 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron in a TMW.
Our top story takes us above the North Pole and the South Pole. A ham radio operator is one of 4 astronauts scheduled to orbit the Earth in the weeks ahead via both poles for the first time, as we hear from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
A ham radio operator is one of 4 astronauts who will be aboard the first spaceflight to orbit the Earth via the North and South Poles. The mission aboard the FRAM-2 is scheduled to last anywhere from 3 to 5 days after its scheduled launch sometime after March 1. The spacecraft's name is a tribute to the FRAM, a Norwegian-built ship used on expeditions to both poles during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The space mission's pilot, Robbie Rouge of Germany, is that nation's first female astronaut. She holds the amateur radio call signs LB9NJ and KD3AID. She will transmit SSTV images using the amateur radio equipment on board. Although the images are to be sent as part of a high school and university competition for students, the images may be also received by any amateur radio operator capable of receiving SSTV transmissions. After the mission is complete, the images will also be available for viewing on the SSTV gallery of amateur radio on the International Space Station. This is also an ambitious scientific research mission. Flying an estimated 425 to 450 kilometers above both poles, the flight is expected to present unprecedented views of both polar regions. The crew will conduct a variety of scientific experiments on board. Robbie's crewmates on the Dragon spacecraft will be Commander Chun Wang of Malta, Vehicle Commander Janniku Mikkelsen of Norway, and Mission Specialist Eric Phillips of Australia. Additional details about the mission and each crew member can be found by following the link that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
What was once radio history in Austria is now, as expected, reduced to rubble. We have details from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The historic shortwave radio transmitting site at Moosbrunn in Austria has been dismantled. The Austrian newspaper Der Standard reports that the demolition in late January marks the end of a long episode in broadcast history. The destruction was described in the newspaper as, quote, a precise targeted explosion, end quote. The facility, built during the Cold War era, had once been home to Radio Austria International. After Radio Austria went off the air in 2003, the transmitter was used by international broadcasters such as Radio DARC, a program produced by the German National Amateur Radio Society. After the closure of the Moosbrunn site at the end of December 2024, Radio DARC moved to the shortwave station in Wooferton, England, which has been carrying it since January. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
World Radio Day, February 13th, was adopted in 2012 by the United Nations to acknowledge radio's role in people's lives everywhere. Although the focus is usually on broadcast radio services, amateur radio will be involved in some events around the world. This year's theme is Radio and Climate Change. One of the many international events happening involves the Shanghai Coast radio station XSG, which maintains a global maritime distress and safety system, as well as Morse code telegraph services. The station is hosting a 2-day crossband event in which the radio station will communicate via CW with amateur radio operators, with each side transmitting on their authorized frequencies while monitoring the other party's frequencies. The event runs from 0 UTC on the 12th of February to 0 UTC the next day. For a list of amateur radio frequencies that XSG will be monitoring for ham transmissions, see the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Hams in Turkey are remembering a friend and fellow amateur who lost his life 2 years ago when a deadly earthquake rocked the region. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, tells us what they're doing.
Mustafa Asim Eza, Tango Alpha 8 Delta X-ray, was 44 years old, and with his wife, he was eagerly expecting the birth of a daughter in just a few days when a catastrophic earthquake shook Turkey on the 6th of February 2023. They had even picked out the baby's name, Pera. An avid radio operator, mountaineering enthusiast and search and rescue volunteer, Mustafa did not survive the 7.8 magnitude quake, which shook southern Turkey, northern Syria, and neighbouring regions. His fellow amateurs are using the special event call sign Tango Charlie 8 Delta X-ray through the 17th of February to honour the memory of one of their own, a businessman and outdoorsman who gave back so generously to his community. His fellow hams are remembering him as the founder of an amateur radio association in Curram and Murris and an active supporter of many activities on HF and the VHF-UHF bands. Mustafa's final gesture of support to his community came in 2023, shortly before his death. He was among those activating Special Event Station TC-100TC to mark the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Republic of Turkey. 2 years later, his fellow hams now mark a more sombre anniversary and remember their friend. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
For the first time in 23 years, amateur radio operators have been granted permission for a de-expedition from a South American archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, has the details.
A de-expedition is going forward to the St. Peter and St. Paul rocks in the Atlantic Ocean after ham radio operators with the Araucaria DX group received permission to operate. The team said that the authority came from the Brazilian Navy, which operates a research station on the archipelago's major islet, Belmonte. The activation of the call sign PY0S will signal the first activation of its kind from the archipelago since the PT0S de-expedition in November 2012. The Araucaria team plans to travel in October or November to the site, which is the 14th amongst Club Log's most wanted DX entities. According to a press release, the hams have a goal going beyond calling QRZ. They said they want to, quote, increase worldwide awareness of this unique rock formation and the role played by the Brazilian Navy in scientific research and study of this extremely difficult and rare environment, end quote. The operation will not be on the rocks themselves. As stipulated by the Navy permit, the team will be on a boat anchored not far from the shore. 5 radios in a box will be used for operating CW, SSB, and FT8 on 160 through to 6 meters. There will be 6 local operators: Adrian, KO8SCA, Fred, PY2XB, George, AA7JV, Mike, KN4EEI, Peter, PY5CC, and Tommy, HA7RY, along with a number of remote operators. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Faced with the upcoming sunset of methods used to calculate fees for repeaters, beacons, and some apparatus amateur licenses, the Australian Communications and Media Authority has finalized small changes it is making. These changes, based on a new methodology, will take effect after the 1st of April sunset of the previous method. The result is that repeaters, beacons, and non-assigned apparatus licenses will be assessed $52.62 annually. The changes do not affect those holding Australian-class licenses, which have no annual fees. The ACMA said in its February 5th announcement it has not yet finalized its apparatus license tax reforms for radio navigation satellite service repeaters. Time to identify your station. We're the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the Montgomery Amateur Radio Club's KV3B repeater, Rockville, Maryland, on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. local time. Life is good in one senior living community in Maryland, where retirees have a small but active ham club and respectable log of contacts. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us about them.
The Charlestown Amateur Radio Club, KB3CAN, has an outlook that is anything but retiring. With only a small membership in a Maryland retirement community, the club recently completed Winter Field Day with 95 digital and SSB contacts in their log. Last summer, members were active in the ARRL Field Day and the Maryland QSO Party. The club has something else to celebrate, the second year since its rebirth on the grounds of Charlestown Senior Living, a nonprofit retirement community in suburban Catonsville that provides continuing care ranging from independent living to skilled nursing. Club President Gary Rogers, KO3F, said that although the community has a long history of having an amateur radio club, the original club had to be dismantled more than a decade ago to accommodate building renovations. When Gary moved there in 2022 and discovered that his apartment's construction made it difficult to get on the air easily, he met with two members of the original club to start things up again. Gary told Newsline in an email that the administration wasn't just on board, but became part of the rebirth. He said, quote, "The administration not only approved, but assigned their maintenance staff to run the coax through the conduit to the roof and install the antennas with me supervising," end quote. Installations were completed by November of 2023. Everything from the grounding system to ensuring the roof warranty was not compromised by the presence of antennas. There are 10 club members ranging from their 70s to their 90s. Gary said the club recently developed the capability to do WinLink, a global email system that uses radio frequencies instead of the internet. The club's next step is to explore how members can get on the air remotely from their apartments. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
You have until the 28th of February to nominate your favorite ham radio open source software project for the 6th Annual Amateur Radio Software Award. This international honor promotes free, innovative software that enhances the ham radio experience. Past winners include David Rowe, VK5DGR for Codec 2, Anthony Good, K3NG for Arduino CW Keyer, and Jonathan Shearer, KN4CRD for JS8 Call. Find award rules and the official nomination form at arsaward.com. In the world of DX, Mika OH2FFP is operating as OJ1ABOA from ABOA Research Station, Antarctica, IOTA number AN016, until the 12th of February. QSL via OH2FFP. Listen for Bruno, VE3BRU, operating as S79/VE3BRU from Mahé, IOTA number AF024, Seychelles, until the 20th of February, using CW and SSB on 40 through 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Bernhard, DL2GAC, is using the call sign H44MS from Malaita, IOTA number OC047 in the Solomon Islands, between the 9th of February through to the 7th of May. He'll be calling QRZ on 80 through 6 meters using SSB and FT8. See QRZ.com for QSL details. The special event call sign II3MPL is on the air through the 1st of May, marking the 50th anniversary of ARI Miran IQ3MP. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Marty, KE4TT, is on the air as P4/KE4TT from Aruba, IOTA number SA036, until the 11th of March, using CW, SSB, and FT8 on various HF bands. See QRZ.com for QSL details. For this week's final story, we tell you about one SOTA activator's highest summit of achievement. It's actually no bigger than a card that could fit in his wallet. We hear about him from Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
Ray, KD8EQA, is still a few weeks away from achieving mountain goat status as a SOTA activator. But even in the 3+ years he's been involved in summits on the air, the Colorado ham has found many kinds of meaningful recognition, most of them with a connection to animals. As a SOTA chaser, he received a Rooster Award from his friend Steve, WG0AT, after 50 successful contacts with activators on Mount Hermon. This unofficial honor was granted in memory of Steve's two beloved goats, Peanut and Rooster. Ray later became an official shack sloth, achieving 1,000 points chasing summits throughout Colorado. As both the elevations and Ray's point score began to soar, so did his enchantment with the natural beauty around him. Becoming a ham in 2021, it didn't take long for the avid hiker to step out with his portable gear. His first SOTA activation was on Mount Antero, a so-called 14er, for its 14,000+ feet above sea level. Enchanted by nature's vistas and animals, from moose to hummingbird, Ray has had of what he considers wow moments. What he received in June of 2023 has no equal in his eyes. It was not the 4 points he got that day for his activation on Devil's Head Summit. No, Ray was in the National Forest specifically to visit the active fire tower, where Ashley, the tower's lookout officer, had promised to present him with a card bestowing membership in something the Forest Service called the Ancient and Honorable Order of Squirrels. An internet search shows that, at least since the 1940s, the forest lookouts have presented these cards at active fire towers around the U.S. to raise the public awareness of the perils of forest fires. To Ray, there is no greater honor than being a card-carrying Forest Service squirrel. The card is a tangible reminder of all that was once good in our world for so long ago and still surrounds us now. I cherish this, he told Newsline, quote, "It is one of the most valuable things I own," end quote. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
What? You haven't sent in your amateur radio haiku yet for Newsline's Haiku Challenge? Take a break. Go QRT for just a few minutes. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format. A 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, 5 in the third. Share your ham radio experience poetically, and then submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. With thanks to the ACMA Amateur Radio Daily, David Bayar, K7DB, DerStandard.de, 425DX News, the Fram2 website, Gary Rogers, KO3F, Patch.com, RadioReference.com, Radio World, SpaceFlightNow.com, SWLing Post, TADX.org, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org, and know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
The Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association hopes you enjoy the weekly broadcast of American Radio Newsline. We hope that you enjoy it, and always look for our club member N8WB Stefan during the broadcast. We hope that you'll stay tuned to the W8WKY repeater for our Sarah weekly Wednesday night club net. We have trivia for you, we'll have an announcement, and just have an all-around good time. So if you need to get your radio programmed up, frequency is 147.39 megahertz, and the PL is 114.8. So I hope you stick around and check in with us at 8 p.m. For the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association, this is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa, standing by for the net.
the weekly Serenette, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes. Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CQ. This is Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association's weekly Club Net. We meet here every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time on the W8WKY repeater, which is located in Doylestown, Ohio, and operates on a frequency of 147.390 megahertz, and we use a PL tone of 114.8. This net is open to all licensed amateur radio operators. No club affiliation is needed, so we hope that you will check in with us. This is a directed net, so all traffic should go through net control. Emergency or priority traffic may break into this net at any time. Your net controller this evening is Jerry. That's Juliet Echo Romeo Yankee. My personal call sign is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa. That's KC8HDP. But during this net, I will be using the club call of Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. I will take a break to reset the repeater and be back with an announcement. The Sierra Club February meeting will be the 20th of this month. It will be back at the Wadsworth Eagles, located at 2117, that's the Erie, 2117, located at 9953 Rittman Road in Wadsworth. Time is 7 o'clock, and hope to see you all there. There's going to be a great program by Ken Dorsey, KA8AOD, on solar power for MCOM. I am looking forward to that presentation. That's all I have for announcements. Are there any other stations with net announcements for the good of the group? Nothing heard. So we'll start off this evening with a round of in and out check-ins. Don't forget we have W8ELM, Eric here, our trivia master with trivia, if you want to be an check-in. So let that help you make your decision. Okay, in and out check-ins for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association weekly Wednesday night net. If you would like to be in and out, you can do so by calling using your call sign followed by your name.
Whiskey Bravo 8, Victor Mike Whiskey, Jim in Barberton.
County, in and out, Jerry. KE8, VOX, that's Kilo Echo 8, Victor Oscar X-Ray, Scott, Vermilion Township, in and out.
Whiskey Bravo 8, Victor Mike Whiskey, Jim in Barberton.
Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango, Tom in Canton, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Tango, Mike Carriot, Portage Lakes, in and out.
Whiskey Alpha 8, Kilo Oscar Charlie, Fred in Akron, in and out. Have a good evening and have a good net, Jerry.
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Hotel Golf, Doug in Norton.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Lima Bravo, KE8TLB, Rainy and Rittman. I'll be in and out, 73.
W8WKY.
Kilo Charlie 8, Lima Yankee Golf, KC8OYZ, you're right to Masley. Please hang in and out, 73.
Kilo Bravo 8, Papa X-Ray Mike, Charlie, in and out.
Okay, I'll pick it up there. I'll see if I have it. Okay, I'll go down the list I have so far of in and outs. We have WB8 VMW Jim, KD8 NEO Daryl in Holmes County, KE8 VOX Scott, KA8 MNT Tom, W8CTM Carey, WA8 KOC Fred, KE8 ZHG Doug, KE8 TLV Randy, KC8 LYG Rick, KB8 PXM Charlie, and KG7 IRJ Paul. Do we have any other in and out check-ins? If so, you can check in now by using your call sign followed by your name.
Kilo Echo 8 Yankee November Juliet, KE8 YNJ John in Norton, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8 Juliet November Hotel Doug and Rittman, in and out.
KJ5IVU Alvin, Mississippi, in and out.
Okay, we've added KE8 YNJ John, KE8 JNH Doug, and KJ5IVU Alvin in Mississippi. Okay, well, let's move on to regular check-ins now. So if you'd like to make comments and take a stab at the tantalizing trivia question this evening, you can call in now and use your call sign followed by your name to check in.
This is Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8 LYJ, Bob in Barberton. Tantalize me.
November Tango 8 Delta, NT8D, Dave in Copley, sticking around.
Kilo Delta 8, Victor Yankee Tango, Russ in Akron. I'll be around.
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Romeo, KE8 CZR, area over in Wadsworth.
Crown.
This is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG, Nick, down the farm.
Whiskey 8, Golf Mike Fox, Gary here in this room.
Kilo 4 Oscar Golf, K4 OG Mark N. Copley.
3.
W8 JAX, Rod in Jacksonville.
This is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio.
Okay, I will pick it up there and go through what I have so far. I have KA8LYJ Bob, NT8D Dave, KD8VYT Russ, KE8ZZR Harry, KD8SLG Nick, W8GMF Gary, K4OG Mark, AA8CT Craig, W8JAX Rod, and WO3X John. Do we have any other people who would like to stick around and take a stab at the trivia question and make comments? If so, Please check in now using your call sign followed by your name.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIV John in Massillon.
Spain Victor, Mark in Aurora.
We've added KE8 UIB John and KC8FQB Mark. Okay, great to have you all here this evening. Let's go up to Eric, our trivia master, W8ELM. Eric, thank you so much for doing trivia. You always do a fantastic job with the questions, and I always enjoy your trivia. What kind of a brain teaser do you have for us this week?
W8WKY from W8ELM. First of all, Jerry, some people are cutting in and out here. I'm wondering if I am doing the same.
No, you are steady, full quieting. So no worries there, Eric. Go ahead.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, everyone who is checked in tonight. Your trivia question tonight: which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? Which of the following pairs of gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? Is it A, alpha, ruby, and sapphire? B, bravo, pearl, and opal? C, emerald and garnet? That's C, Charlie. Emerald and garnet. Or D, delta, zircon and topaz? Again, which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? A, alpha, ruby and sapphire. B, bravo, pearl and opal. C, Charlie, emerald and garnet. Or D, delta, zircon and topaz. Back to net from W8ELM.
Wow, another tough question there. I'm going to think about that and exercise net control operator privileges to think about that for a while and answer it later. Boy, another excellent question, Eric. Well, let's go to the top of the list with KA8LYJ. Bob, what do you think the answer to the tantalizing trivia question is, and what comments do you have for us? NT8D is on deck.
W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is KA8LYJ. Once again, Eric has me regretting being the first to check in on the net. Hi. I literally do not know. My gut is saying that it's the emerald and the garnet for no other reason than my gut is saying that. So we'll just leave it at that. I can't remember which one that was. I think it was Charlie. If not, correct me. With that, I'll leave it to wiser minds. This is KA8LYJ turning it back to net.
Well, thank you for checking in with us this evening, Bob. Great to have you on the net. I have your trivia question answered down as Charlie, which is emerald and garnet. And we'll see where the gut instinct takes you. Many times that's the right answer. So we'll see where it goes. Thanks for joining us on the net once again, Bob, and hope to catch up with you again next week on the net. We're going to clear now with KA8LYJ and move on to NT8D. Good evening, Dave. What do you think the answer to the tantalizing trivia question is, and what other comments do you have for us? And KD8VYT, you are on deck.
Good evening, Jerry. Wow, that is just that question sparked my childhood curiosity and just lit up my brain with all kinds of fun feelings and put a smile on my face because I have no clue what the answer is, but I would have really wanted to know when I was in the third grade. So, I like the question. So somebody picked C. I have no clue, so I'm just going to pick D, Delta, and leave A and B open for others, because I got no clue, and it's just a great question. Thanks. I appreciate that, Eric. Still chilly day. This next week's going to be messy, but I did get up to Cleveland, and I managed to assemble a piano dolly and single-handedly lift a grand piano and take the casters off and set it down onto the dolly, and it now rolls across the stage very easily. I did use a few mechanical aids to get that done. It was not all physical labor. But it got done this morning, and I made a day's pay, so I'll take that. Hope everybody's having a good one. Terrific Tuesday to everybody, and we'll listen to whoever shows up tomorrow morning on the Barometer Net. So we're back to net control, and I'm going to listen on the scanner to find out what the answer is going to be. NT8D, back to net.
Well, that's great that it sparked your childhood curiosity. And, looking forward to finding out what the answer to this is as well. And, as far as lifting heavy things, take care of your backs. Once your back is injured, it pains you for the rest of your life. So take care of it while it's good. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Good to have you here, and we'll catch up with you later on. I'm going to clear with NT8D now and move on to KD8VYT. Good evening, Russ. Good to have you as part of the net. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And KE8ZZR is on deck.
Well, I didn't hear the whole question and only a couple of the answers, so I don't have a clue, nor do I care. So just put me down for the right answer, and I will have gotten it right. Anyway, I'm working on these soldering projects, and I'm trying to build this little FM radio, and I've already ruined 2 of them. Because the circuit boards, it's got surface mount stuff, and I'm not doing too well with those. So I'm on the internet looking on how to do it on surface mounts. So that's my project, and I'm sticking to it. KD8VYT 73.
Well, Russ, I hope you get your surface mount soldering figured out and get your FM transmitter, or was it a receiver? Well, anyway, your FM radio working there. And thanks for joining us on the net this evening. We'll catch up with you again soon, I'm sure. We're going to clear with KD8VYT now and go to KE8ZZR, Harry. Good evening, Harry. Thanks for joining us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the tantalizing trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And KD8SLG is on deck.
W8WKY. This is KE8ZZR. Good evening, Jerry, and everybody on the net. Trivia. That's another stunning question from Eric. As NTAD mentioned, that takes me back to my childhood days as well. My neighbor who used to tumble rocks back then and cut rocks, and I remember was fascinated with them. I don't have a clue, to tell you the truth, so I'm going to go with B, since I think C was already taken. So B is a boy. And not much happening here. I had to do some errands today. Sorry I couldn't make the Wayne Aries luncheon, but I had to go pick up dog food for our dog over in North Royalton, so that consumed part of my afternoon. So other than that, that's about it. So I'll turn it back to net control. This is KE8ZZR clear.
Well, we did miss you at the Aries lunch today, Harry, but somebody, I forget who it was, mentioned that you had something else you needed to do. But, yeah, hopefully you'll be there next week. Yeah, maybe we'll see you at breakfast on Saturday as well. Who knows? Anyway, I have your trivia question answer as B, and appreciate your check-in, and thanks for joining us. We're going to clear with KE8ZZR, Harry now, and go down on the farm with KD8SLG, Just Nick. Good evening, Just Nick. Thanks for joining me on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for the group? And W8GMF is on deck.
WWKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Jerry and all the club netizens. So good to be here. Let's go right to trivia because I'm sleepy. And I'm actually going to go with Charlie tonight. That's what struck me on the first pass, so I'm going to dig in and go for it. Despite one of Gary's postulates about C. So, I'm pretty tired tonight. I don't have a whole lot to add, so I'm going to pass it back to you, Jerry. It's KD8SLG, back to net control.
Well, I'm awfully glad you were able to stay awake long enough to check into the net with us. Appreciate it, and it's good to have you as part of the group. I have your trivia question answer as C, and yeah, hopefully you'll be able to stay awake long enough to hear the answer, or wake up when Eric's giving the answer. Okay, we're going to clear with KD8SLG now, and go to W8GMF Gary. Good evening, Gary. Thanks for checking in with me this evening on the net. What do you think the answer to the Puzzle Masters trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And AA8CT is on deck.
Good evening. Say hi to everybody on the net. Hope they stay warm. Didn't think I was going to make it. Thought I had a basketball game at Akron to go to. It turned out
W.
day for that. So, as far as the trivia question, I have no idea. And I'm going to put in a guess at A, because it seems to me like they're somewhat the same two colors. But I could be all wet. It is strictly a guess. So 7-3, Jerry, and thanks for running the net. And it was good to have lunch with you today. W8GMF. Quick.
Well, it was good to have lunch with you too, Gary, and well, glad you were able to check in with us this evening. Appreciate your check-in, and glad to have you part of the group. I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha, and you know, it seems like that would be the obvious answer because of the coloring, but then I don't know. Sometimes the obvious one's the right answer, and then a lot of times it's not. So I'm still going to keep thinking on that. But thank you for your check-in, Gary, and we'll catch up with you soon. We're going to clear with W8GMF now, and I said Craig was on deck. It's actually Mark, K4OG. I skipped you, Mark. Gosh, I'm sorry. K4OG, what do you think the answer to the trivia question is? And what else do you have for us? And now AA8CT is on deck. Go ahead, Mark.
W8WKY, K4OG. Good evening, Jerry and everyone. Oh, man, this one's a toughie. Toughie. I like Charlie. But then again, I like Delta, too. And I think the most ridiculous one would be Bravo. I don't think one of those is a gemstone. So, gosh, guys, I think I'm going to go with Delta tonight. And, well, I was just showing some pics to SLG and Ron, whatever Ron's called is. I was making a counterweight out of a leftover balloon weight. Got some pine cones and destroyed the pine cones and glued them to the, it looks like a cement is what this counterweight's made out of. And put a screw in it and cemented that screw in. It looks like a pine cone, and it doesn't have to fool a squirrel. It just has to fool a Karen walking by. So there you go. Good evening, guys. Thanks for running the net, and it's been a pleasure. K4OG.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you part of the net, Mark. Good to hear from you. I do have your trivia question answer as Delta. Boy, it is really a tough question there. We'll clear with you and catch up with you soon, Mark. We will now, that's what I wanted to do. Wanted to re-identify this as the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association weekly Tuesday night net. We meet here every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. on the W8WKY repeater. Your net controller this evening is Jerry. That's Juliet Echo Romeo Yankee, using the club call of Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. Okay, let's come down home way with Alpha 8 Charlie Tango. Good evening, Craig. Thanks for checking in with me this evening. What do you think the answer to the Trivia Masters question is, and what else do you have for us?
W8WKY. Good evening, Jerry. Thank you for running the net. I appreciate it. Could have probably done this, with a string and a can, but we're almost that close. My answer tonight, Alpha. And if I understood the precursor to what Eric said, I think I'm in the right area, but I will listen for the answer and then either confirm or deny any of full-grown knowledge. With one other note, tonight I went to sign in on my Allstar link, and it said that I am unregistered. Now, I don't know if that's because my call sign changed, a different password, or what. So I don't know if it's a Nick question or somebody else in the club. I can wait until not this Thursday, but next Thursday and find out. But I've gotten so used to using Allstar and really like it. My fallback is Echolink, which is I'm on tonight. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Jerry. Thank you so much for doing it. Good to hear a hometown voice. Not really. Really, because we're both hometown, but not. And everybody else that's out there in the net, I thoroughly enjoy and can't wait till Thursday to maybe set an eyeball on some of the people I've been talking to over the past few weeks. So with that, W8WKY, this is AA8CT, back to net control. And again, thank you, Jerry.
Well, thank you for checking in with us, Craig. It's great to have you part of the net. I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha. Let's see if we can get an answer for you. Does anyone on the net have an answer to Craig's question about him not being able to get into Allstar? If they do, go direct with Craig.
This is Katie at SLG. Shouldn't have anything to do directly with your call sign. I don't know if you changed that in. And I don't believe you're talking about Allstar, but the DV switch direct client link. If that's what you're talking about, I believe, I don't know which password you're looking for there, if that's an app-generated password for the whole app, or if it's specifically for the 48496. If it's for the 48496, I don't know if the password has changed or not. I just linked up and mine worked. Katie at SLG.
Katie at SLG. That was the password that was sent out by the club to get in. It just says that I'm unregistered and the password is incorrect, and that was the only password I ever had, Nick. So it's no big deal. I can still kind of hobble through on Echolink, and maybe we can figure out what the problem is a week from Thursday. Thank you so much, AE8CT, KD8SLG, thank you. I appreciate it, Nick.
I'll shoot off an email to the appropriate party, see what I can find out for you, Craig. WKY, this is Katie at SLG. Back to you, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for answering trying to answer the question for Craig, Nick. Appreciate that. Okay, we're going to clear with A8CT Craig now. And I forgot to say that the W8 to JAX Rod was on deck. Good evening, Rod. Really good to hear from you. I don't hear from you much on the radio anymore since I'm not on the barometer net. But thanks for checking in with me this evening. It's great to hear from you. And what do you think the answer to the trivia question is? And what else do you have for us? And if Wendy's around, W8JAX, turn things over to her when you're done. And W03X, John, you are on deck.
Well, good evening there, Jerry. Had my node decided to ID just now, so sorry for the delay there, but good to hear you and all on the net. We sure miss everyone up there in Ohio, and it has been ages since I've been on this particular net. Wendy and I do get on the barometer net in the mornings quite often, and but it feels good to check in tonight. And just enjoying the warm weather here in Florida today, along with a couple long walks with our pup Lucy. We've had a cold January here, but things have finally turned around now, and we're getting lots of sun and 70s for the highs. So we're starting to enjoy the Florida winter here. Hey, that was a very good trivia question from Eric there, and I really have no clue on compositions, but I'm going to go with D. I think those two may at least have the same color. I'm not even sure of that, but I'm going to go with D Delta. And I'll hand the mic over here to Miss Wendy real quick. You can check her in as well.
Good evening, Jerry, and everyone on the net. This is K8JAX, and not portable pedestrian this evening, but I did want to make clear, Rod said about our Lucy pup. Of course, this is Lucy number 2, in case some of you didn't know, because we had lost our first Lucy, and Rod liked the name Lucy and just kept it the same for this one, but she's a good pup, and we're enjoying being able to walk her in the nice weather. Everyone have a good evening. This is K8JAX.
once again, it was so great to hear from you, Rod, and Wendy as well. Thank you so much for checking in with me. Appreciate the check-in and enjoy talking to you again. I have your trivia question and answer as D, Rod, and we'll see how that works out for you. I'm sure we'll catch up on the air again sometime here soon. So we're going to clear with W8JAX and K8JAX and turn things over to W03X John, who is one of the net control operators for the N8XPK 6-meter net and does a fine job. Okay, John, what do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for the group?
Good evening, Jerry, and all. This is W03X. Yeah, thanks for mentioning the N8XPK 6-meter multi-state net, which is on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. 53.170 is its output frequency, and 52.170 is its input frequency. And depending where you are, there's various PL tones for the various inputs. Medina is 114.8, and Richfield is 136.5, and then there's an input in Stone Creek, Loudonville, and there's one. It used to be the Akron input had a PL tone of 107.2. Well, that one has been moved to Columbiana County, which is handy if you're in western Pennsylvania. Okay, let's see, the trivia question. I'm going to go with, what did I figure here? I'm going to go with alpha. And hearing Russ talking about working on surface mount, when I was working up in Independence, we had to sometimes, this was for HVAC and refrigeration controllers, and sometimes, well, California came out with this requirement, something about minimizing the current for battery charging. So we had a backup battery on these controllers if the power went off, so the settings wouldn't get lost. But we modified some of them, and when you're doing surface mount and using the new lead-free solder, which is a little higher temperature, you have to use a very small tip soldering iron, temperature controlled, and also a microscope is helpful. It doesn't have to be high power, only say 2 times or 4 times, 4 times at the most. So that's the story on soldering with surface mount. And then hearing the people in Florida there reminded me of I was living near Chicago in 1972, and the company sent like one person from each major city for training in Miami Beach, Florida. It was in January, and it was 29 below zero at the Chicago O'Hare Airport, and when we took off, and 2 hours later, that's back in the old days when they flew 600 miles an hour, 2 hours later we landed in Miami, and it was 85 degrees, 114 degree Fahrenheit difference. And then one day we were down at the beach swimming, and this was after hours, and some people walked by and said, "You're crazy, that water's only 73 degrees." And a guy from Minneapolis, he said, where he's from, the water never gets that warm. So it's very pleasant swimming here. So with that, back to the net. This is W03X.
before I forget to tell you that you gave the trivia question answer as alpha, and yeah, wow, 100 and some degrees swing in temperature. That is huge. Wow. And your explanation of surface mount soldering, well, I think I'll skip that. I'll let somebody else do surface mount soldering for me. But great to have you part of the net, John. Thanks for checking in with me. We're going to clear with WO3X now and go to KE8UIB. Hey, good evening, John. Thanks for joining us on the net. You must have got covered over earlier than that. You're usually in before that. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for the group? And KC8FQV is on deck.
W8WKY from KE8UIB. Good evening, Jerry. Everybody out there in the net. And yes, sir, I got trampled on a little bit trying to get in. But hey, it happened. It wouldn't be no fun any other way. But I made it in, so that's the important thing. Trivia question. I'm doing the weekly message back and forth with my mom and dad, and the wife and I are kind of sitting here. My mom and dad are going with B, Bravo. My wife is saying A, Alpha. I'm kind of just torn. It's a really great question, and then I listed everybody else's answers, and then I gave them more torn. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with Alpha also and go with the wife, and we'll see how that goes. But with that, I hope everybody's enjoying their Tuesday evening, and we're just sitting here playing radio. With that, this is KE8UIB living the $5 dream, a nickel at a time. I'm going to hand this back over to Net Control, and thanks for running the net, Jerry. 7-3, y'all.
Well, it's always a good evening when you can play radio. At least that's what I think. Anyway, I have your parents' trivia question answer as Bravo, and you and your wife's answer as Alpha. Yeah, appreciate you checking in with us this evening, and your parents for listening. Howdy to Mom and Dad there. And keep for joining us, John, and I'll put a nickel in the jar for you. We're going to clear with KE8UIB now and go to KC8FQV. Good evening, Mark. Thanks for joining us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for the group?
Really, no, it is a good trivia. Yeah, I just figured, I asked Google just now a little while ago, you know, I've always been able to do typing on my phone, you know, with the voice type, you know, the keyboard, or I can, there's a little microphone at the top of the keyboard, and I can tell, you know, touch that, and I can voice type a message. You know, I can voice type into, you know, like Facebook when I'm searching something, or into the search engine, you know, even if I do something over with the my chart for Cleveland Clinic, I can voice type it in, and it makes it a lot easier, and then I have to go in and correct the word here or there, but it works out pretty good. And I kept wanting to try to get it on the Chromebook. Well, I asked Google, and it came back and told me what to do, and I just put it up, and I just did a message. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I got things faxed to the eye doctor because I can't get into my portal with them to check on stuff and see my outpatient visits and that. So in a day or so they'll get that, because they say there's multiple accounts. I know they were doing some switching from one system to another, and then I tried to log in one time. I was set up, and then I guess I lost everything, so I said, okay, we'll just start a new one. So somehow there's a couple of them in there, so they're going to have to straighten it up down at that end so I can get in. But, you know, computers are computers, and that certainly is a jumble mess sometimes, so we'll send it back. But I'll just say A, just like Aurora for an answer, and we'll see everyone, on another net somewhere. KC at FQV.
Yeah, computers can be quite complicated, especially when you don't know what you're doing, like me. Let's say my wife was she was KC8 HDQ. She was a computer programmer, could make a computer do anything, and so I always let her do all the computer stuff, and I should have learned from her instead of just taking the easy way out and letting her do everything. But anyway, glad you got things straightened out there. I do have your trivia question to answer as Alpha, and yeah, we'll catch up with you on another net probably tomorrow evening. So we're going to clear with Mark, KC8FQV, and that is the bottom of the list. So we will open up the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association weekly Wednesday night net for more check-ins. Your net controller this evening is Jerry. That's Juliet Echo Romeo Romeo Yankee. I'm using the club call of Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. If you would like to check into the net, you can do so by using your call sign followed by your name.
This is Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Foxtrot Tango KE8 QFT Fred in North Medina.
Alpha Bravo 8 Mike Oscar AB8MO Andy in Newberry, Ohio.
Whiskey 8 Kilo Echo 8 Zulu India November 88 ZIS Joe and Willowick coming through on Echolink in and out.
Hi Jerry, Kilo Echo 8 Echo Hotel Golf KE8 EHG Mike in Navarre.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Zulu Alpha KE8 VZA Eric in Strongsville.
Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Uniform Quebec KE8 YUQ Phillip and River Sticks.
Okay, I'll go down the list of who we have added. We have added the KE8 QFT Fred, AB8MO Andy, W8TD John, KD8 ZFN Joe. Hope I wrote that down right. KE8EHG Mike, KE8VZA Eric, and KE8YUQ Philip. Joe was in and out. I have him marked. Okay, well, let's go up to our trivia master once again and get a reread of the question before we start down the new list. So, Eric, if you would please reread the trivia question for this evening.
WAWKY from W8ELM. Which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? And I'll give them to you in pairs. Which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? Is it A, alpha, ruby and sapphire, B, bravo, pearl and opal, C, Charlie, emerald and garnet, or D, delta, zircon and topaz? Again, which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? A, alpha, ruby and sapphire, B, bravo, pearl and opal, C, Charlie, emerald and garnet, or D, delta, zircon and topaz? Back to net, W8WKY from W8ELM.
Well, thank you for rereading the trivia question this evening, Eric, and it is a real head-scratcher. So let's go to Fred, the KE8QFT. Good evening, Uncle Fred. Thanks for joining us on the net this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And AB8MO is on deck.
Okay. First, I'd like to say hello to everybody out there. They've been on here in a while. I would like to say the answer to trivia is alpha, because I have no idea as usual. Also, like, I don't know, the Sunday Super Bowl show, I've heard mixed reviews from what I've seen on Facebook anyway. Although not a real fan of hip-hop or rap music, I certainly can appreciate the poetry involved. I used to write a lot of poems, and the only problem I had with Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show was I couldn't understand what they were saying. I could not understand the words. That's the main thing. So, although not a hip-hop fan, I appreciate that it sells millions, you know. And these are true artists in their own right, but this particular guy I could not understand. Anyhow, that's just my 2 cents worth on that. And we got some more weather coming, in case you didn't know. Button down the hatches again. Get out the rock salt, because it may be mainly an ice event for us once again. What are you going to do? We had a real winter this time. KE8QFT. Back to net control.
Well, good to have you on the net this evening, Fred. Glad you decided to check in with me since it's been a while, so it's always good to have you here. I have your trivia question, the answer as alpha, and yeah, I had no interest in the Super Bowl this year. Didn't care who won. The commercials the last number of years haven't even been worth watching, and I have no idea what Kendrick Lamar does, so I found other things to do. But anyway, thanks for joining us, Fred, and you take care, and we'll catch up with you again soon on the air. We're going to clear with KE8QFT and go to AB8MO, Andy. Good evening, Andy. Thanks for checking in with us this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for us? And W8TD is on deck.
W8WKY.
W8WKY, the Sarah Club Net. This is AB8MO. Yeah. Well, we're living up to the title of the snow belt. There's still plenty of snow on the ground, plenty of ice. We probably put down over 200 pounds of salt. This is not an exaggeration on the driveway. 50-pound bags have gone through at least 4 of them. And it was just enough to clear a path between the garage and the front door and the car. And that was it. So, and a little bit on the hill. I have a small hill on my driveway that goes down to the street. So put some salt near the top of the hill so he wouldn't get stuck on the hill. Because he always gets stuck near the top of the hill. So that's probably be the way it's going to be until it ices over again. So anyway, for the trivia question, I'm going to say zircon and topaz. I'm not sure why that sticks out. I'm not. Chemical composition, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the same color, I guess. Although I guess it would make sense. So guess we'll find out for the Trivia Master. That's about all I got, Eric. I won't tie it up any further. About the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know why somebody told me it was going to be Britney Spears. I think I would have rather watched Britney Spears. But I think, Fred, I was thinking you couldn't understand anything he was saying. I really couldn't either. And I wonder if turning on the closed captioning would have helped. Or if it would have been interesting to see if, they probably had the lyrics preloaded, I would think. Or if the captioning would just get really confused, too. That would have been interesting to see if that was the case. So that's never going to happen. Super Bowl's over and done with, and I didn't turn on my closed captioning. So, oh well. Back to you, Eric. Everybody have a great night. This is AB8MO.
Well, thanks once again for joining us, Andy. Great to have you as part of the net. And, that's quite a bit of, I don't know how long your driveway is, but, that sounds like a lot of salt to have been used already. But, anyway, there's more coming. So hopefully you have more to put on the driveway. I do have your trivia question and answer as Delta. And thanks once again for joining us. We're going to clear with AB8MO now. And go to W8TD. John, thanks for joining us on the net this evening. Where are you at this evening, and what do you think the answer to the trivia question is, and what else do you have for the group? And KE8EHT, Mike is on deck.
W8WKY in the net, Whiskey 8 Tango Delta. Good evening, all. Sorry to hear about the ice. It's been really uncomfortably hot here the last couple days, but I'm not complaining. Where are we? Well, we turned around. We got to LA and turned around maybe 5 or 6 days ago. We're headed back, doubling back the same spots. Should hit Miami, I don't know, maybe another 10 days or so. We'll be docking at Puerto Quetzal, Guatemala tomorrow again. All the stops on the way back will be they were going west, so nothing too exotic. I'll give you a hint. Assuming that I can get a decent internet connection next month, I plan to be checking in for much more exotic locations. I'm just going to have to make a wild guess. I'll guess A on the trivia because I don't have any idea what any of that is. And as far as I'm concerned, a performer who can't enunciate isn't much of a performer. And with that, back to the net. WWKY, W8TD.
Well, hopefully you are enjoying your time at sea, and it's great that you're able to check in with us while you're away. So I do have your trivia question as Alpha, and it wouldn't matter if I could understand what they were saying anyway. I don't understand the street lingo, so even when I can understand the words, I still don't know what they're talking about. So I guess I should take a class in whatever street slang is. I don't know. But anyway, thanks again for joining us, John, and we'll catch up with you later. Going to clear with W8TD now and go to KE8EHD, Mike. Good evening to you, Mike. Thanks for joining us on the net this evening. Appreciate your check-in. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is? What else do you have for us? And KE8VZA is on deck.
Good evening, Jerry. Good evening, everyone on the net. Trivia question-wise, I don't know. I'm just going to go with Ruby and Sapphire Alpha. I think Ruby and Sapphire was an old 60s group. Sounds like it. Anyways, the football game, I watched it. I was glad that the Eagles won. Whatever. Chiefs, the three-peat, something like that. But I guess I missed the halftime show, and I talked to my buddy, and he said he didn't miss much. The only thing that was worth the halftime show is the Grand National, I guess, the car. So I like those cars. But anyways, I'm going to try to make the next week, I think it's next week, the meeting. Is it going to be at the same place, or is it going to be a different place? I didn't check the web. That was one question I had. And is there another net going on somewhere on this frequency, like out further? Because I can hear somebody else talking like another net going on. I'm just curious. So thanks, Jerry, for doing the net, doing an awesome job, and I'll take it back to the net, KE8EHG.
The Sarah Club meeting, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, is going to be back at the Eagles at the regular place on Rittman Road there in Wadsworth. So back to the normal place at 7 o'clock. I do have your trivia question answer as Alpha, and yes, I have heard other distant stations, not on this repeater, but I've heard it coming in as well when I unkey. So anyway, great to have you with us, Mike. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch up with you on another net soon. We're going to clear with KE8EHD and go to KE8VZA Eric. Good evening, Eric. Thanks for checking in with me on the net this evening. Great to hear from you. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is? What else do you have for us? And KE8YUQ is on deck.
WAWKY in the group. This is KE8DZA here. Well, I'm not sure, so we're just going to take a stab at it, and I'm going to go with Delta. So Delta for the trivia. I was NCO for the Norse 10-meter net tonight. We had a good three-way QSO going there, and then we had three more stations jump in during last call. So all in all, for 10 meters, ground wave, local, wasn't too bad. The noise floor wasn't terrible and was working okay. So Super Bowl, that Eagles blowout, one of my coworkers is convinced it was a conspiracy because most of the money was on Kansas City, so they kind of flipped it and had the Eagles win. So I don't know if I buy into those kind of conspiracies, but you never know. As far as the club meeting, unfortunately, I'm going to miss this next one. I've been summoned by the powers that be at work to work on a project next week down in our North Carolina plant. So I'll be there. I'll be missing everybody. But anyway, life goes on. I'll be at the meeting after that for sure. So anyway, KE8BZA, thanks for picking me up, Jerry. Back to net control.
Well, it's great that the noise floor was low tonight so you could have a good 10-meter net. That sounds awesome. Yeah, we'll miss you at the meeting next Thursday evening, but, you got to do what you got to do. And I have your trivia question answer as Delta. So look forward to catching up with you again soon, Eric. Thanks once again for the check-in. We're going to clear with KE8VZA and go to KE8YUQ, Philip. Good evening to you, Philip. Thanks for checking in with me this evening. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is? What else do you have for us as well?
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee, Quebec. Shot in the dark, I'm going to go with Charlie. Don't think very many people went with that one. Other than that, not very much going on. Hopefully this week I will get some more buckets and stuff out to the walnut trees and the maple trees and see if I can be ready to get the sap running going really good and maybe make some maple syrup and some walnut syrup. So that's about all I have. Back to net control. Thank you.
Well, I do have your trivia question answer as Charlie, and, well, it sounds good to make some maple syrup. So enjoy making that and enjoy even more eating it. Well, okay, that is the bottom of the list, and we are past the hour. So people can get to the WatchNet on the Millersburg repeater. Let's get up to Eric, W8ELM, our trivia master. Eric, give us any comments you'd like to make to the net, and then give us the answer to the trivia question. Oh, I guess I'll go with Delta.
W8WKY from W8ELM. Well, my comments first. I would like to quote from the FCC regulations, Part 97.101D, that's Delta. No amateur operator shall willfully or maliciously interfere with or cause interference to any radio communication or signal. I thought I probably better read that because I didn't figure the 5-year-old that was causing the problem would be able to do so. So anyway, I'll get a little more time. And I guess that will, let's see. Which of the following gemstones are most closely related in their chemical composition? The correct answer is A, alpha, ruby, and sapphire. The non-gem form of these two gems would be corundum, and it's aluminum oxide, Al2O3, and probably a lot of you have some of it in the basement glued to a piece of sandpaper, because it has a Mohs hardness of 9.0 on the 10 Mohs scale. Only diamond would be harder of the common materials. Let's see, Gary was first, BGMF, with the correct answer. Then Craig, AA8CT, John, WO3X, John, K8UIB, and his wife also, KC8FQV, Mark, KE8QFT, Fred, W8TD, John, and KE8EHG, Mike. Now, most of these gems will have a common color, but they can all vary in their colors depending on how much of the particular impurity, or whatever you want to call it, the element that gives it the color, is present. So ruby and sapphire, ruby of course is normally red. Sapphire is usually blue, but it can have many other colors also. Pearl and opal are interesting because they are both deposits out of solutions. And pearl, of course, is formed by a biological process. Opal is formed by a more non-biological process. Let's see. Emerald and garnet, main difference there is that the emerald is beryllium aluminum silicate and garnet is magnesium aluminum silicate. And for zircon and topaz, zircon is zirconium silicate, hence the name. Topaz is aluminum silicate fluor hydroxide. That's a big mouthful there. So anyway, thanks for everybody contributing tonight and participating, and I'll say 7-3 to everybody. Turn it back to net. W8WKY from W8ELM.
Well, once again, Eric, fabulous question and great explanation, and really appreciate you doing the trivia question. I couldn't come up with anything near as good, so myself. So I really appreciate you doing the questions. So, and thank you for your comments as well and being part of the net. Okay, well, there you have it. There's the explanation of the trivia question. I forgot to ask when I took the last list of check-ins if I missed anybody, and I do apologize if I did. So if there's still anyone who would like to check in, even though the trivia question is done, you can do so by using your call sign followed by your name. Nothing heard, so we will close the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Wednesday night net at 9:10 p.m. We had 35 check-ins plus net control for 36. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for checking in this evening. Thank you for taking time out of your day to make this net part of your day. Appreciate your check-ins, hearing your comments, and Eric for the trivia question. So with that, for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association, this is Kilo Charlie 8 Hotel Delta Papa KC8 HDP Jerry and Shreve, returning the repeater to regular amateur use. 7-3.
KE8QFT. KE8QFT. Anyone hear from Mark from Wadsworth lately? Over.
KE8QFT, this is KE8VZA. Hey there, Fred. I did hear Mark, KE8SFS, Southern Mark, check into the barometer net this morning, and I didn't catch all of it, but something happened to his car, and I believe it was totaled, and he is without a set of wheels for the near future. That's all I know. He relayed that, and I couldn't hear all of it because I was getting ready for work. KE8VZA.
Well, thanks for that information. I haven't heard from him for quite a while, and of course, I haven't been on the radio a heck of a lot lately, but Mark from Aurora there, I used to talk with quite frequently, and he lives in the tower there in Wadsworth, and I was just wondering. I hadn't heard from him for a long time, so thanks for letting me know that. I hope he's okay, and I'll try to get a hold of him through alternate means. KE8QFT.
W8WKY.
Yeah, I'm usually listening like a good situation. I don't know about his condition. He sounds okay on the radio. He sounds like himself. So I'm only assuming based on that. But I hope he's okay. I don't know if it was an accident or what. But good to hear you, Fred. I'm going to jump out of here and go get something to eat. I have the grum bellies big time. But good hearing you. This is KE8VZA. We'll clear with KE8QFT. I'll be clear on your final there, Fred.
Okay, KE8QFT. 73. We are clear. Go ahead.
How you doing? Name's Scott. I'm over in Akron. I just heard you guys talking. I just wondered if I can get your repeater or not.
Scott, this is Fred in Medina. I'm doing fine. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Getting over the bug. We all had some kind of bug just going around. We're all getting better now. But yeah, it was something else. It wasn't COVID or nothing. They just said it was some kind of virus. And man, I tell you what, it was pretty bad. It was worse than COVID. I had COVID. It was worse than what COVID was.
Okay, Scott. This is K8UFT. I got to get out of here now. And I don't mean to be rude, but I do have to run. The K8UFT. We're clear on your final.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I just want to make sure. At least I don't get the repeater now. I didn't want to hold you up. You have a good night, and God bless all you guys. And hey, just enjoy the weather before. Just think about the warm weather coming up, man. And have a good night. This is K8RFK, and I'm clear.